seemed to be flat to the boards in behind, and then consistently down the straight he just leaned left-handed, and he can never really get competitive after that. Obviously the filly Lady Lightning was due to go in here, but they have pulled her out. Conditions, I've got no idea how the ground is going to play out with him, but he could jump out from where he's positioned in 7, and he may well be on the fence up towards the stand side.
It's amazing how much these horses show at home on the bridle, but when you get them to the races and they come off the bridle, they just, you know, they're so green and clueless, and having that experience will have done him the world of good.
Yeah, you could really see that, couldn't you, in the closing stages there with Elo May. That's Jason's tip of the day in this 2-year-old contest. Not a huge amount to go off, only 3 that have had a race course start, but the markers suggested that Royal Accord didn't show enough on a debut to really feature here. But what about the ones that we haven't seen? Because the Richard Hannon team tend to have their horses fairly forward, fairly well educated before their race course debut. He's got Carderock here.
Yeah, and again, I know as much as everyone else about the horse. You know, they're not going to send him there if he's not ready. You know, he's obviously showed signs at home. They wouldn't run him on heavy ground if they didn't think that he was going to like it. So, you know, a powerful stable to, you know, have a question mark about. But the opposition isn't huge, in my opinion.
When you mentioned trainers that have got their juveniles in great form, E. Johnson Horton has set off fantastically well. They've had I think about 4 individual juvenile winners, maybe even more than that. They're going really, really well. So certainly one who's going to float a touch under the radar, around about 11 to 2 as well, is gold medalist. 30,000 he was euros as a yearling, but the team are having a tremendous run.
Yeah, they were all roughly about that as a purchase price as youngsters, although Royal Accord only cost £1,000 guineas, I guess, as a foal. That one going for Alice Haynes and Kieran O'Neill. You know, there's a lot of education to do, isn't there, as a jockey when they're having their debut or early on in their careers?
Yeah, and you know, the stalls are in the middle of the track, and quite often when you're riding a 2-year-old, you know, first time out, having a rail really helps because it just gives them a sort of guideline, you know. So I'd be interested to see with the heavy ground whether they will tack over to the stands rail. But yeah, I have a feeling they're going to finish strung out like they did in the last here at Newmarket.
Yes, conditions could be testing there at Goodwood. Oh, we've got one misbehaving. That looks like your mate, Elo May. Jason, just going up on the stalls there.
Yeah, he's been a little bit babyish. Similar story at Wolverhampton. Let's hope they've got someone in. They've put the hood on to try and keep him calm. Let's hope we can get him to focus on his second start at school.
Yeah, it's good that racing is going ahead at Goodwood today. It looked somewhat in doubt as they were already on heavy conditions. Yesterday they were worried about a band of rain coming across, but racing does go ahead as Carderock looks like the last one to load, and we hand you over to Ian Bartlett.
Good to go. They're off. Race with 5 furlongs in the trip here. They get away in a seemingly decent line. Carderock, the best turned up, winner in red, is at the back of the field with the purple of number. On the left, Mighty Real, debut run. Pacey, though, up there with Royal Accord, the blue jacket, white sleeves. Elevate, extreme right. Pink jacket, Finley Marsh comes stand side, running well. Brose, the favourite, white colours, is running in for about 3rd or 4th place at the moment on the left with a noseband. Then gold medalist, a little bit hidden. It's checks of black and pink colours, followed by Carderock in the red. The number in the purple colours as they're past halfway at the 2 furlong pole. Elo makes the one by himself on the right and struggling at the moment with the noseband on the left. Brose has come through to join Royal Accord, but gold medalist in the pink and black checks is coming through with a big challenge. The furlong pole. It's gold medalist of Brose. Numbers running out well from the back of the field into the closing stages. The white of Brose, the pink sleeves of gold medalist. There's very little between them. Brose has just got to the line in front to gold medalist. Number behind those, then Carderock, Royal Accord, Mighty Real, and last home, Elo 8.
Well, the market got it right at Goodwood. The 7 to 4 favourite, Brose, saluted. Not by much, though, from gold medalist running a big race in 2nd, and Number finishing 3rd. Tough performance.
I thought that was pretty good. The race down towards the centre. Elo May tried to make a beeline, but he didn't want to come away from the other horses originally, and in the end he sort of tailed in on his own at the back of the pack. But just look how much they Sailor, you can explain here from the jock's point of view. They're down the centre. It's quite a wideish track anyway, Goodwood. They're a good 7, 8, 9 horses width off this standside rail, and that's where they end up.
Yeah, I think the horse in front here has just edged over and intimidated the other horses to sort of follow him. You know, they're like I said, they're always looking for a rail and they're wandering round in front, and you've got the stands and the crowd, and it is really tough on them on this ground for 2-year-olds, and they very rarely go in a straight line.
And he was one of the most experienced in the field. How much do you upgrade the performance, say, of the second gold medalist or even the third on their debut?
Yeah, the Johnson Horton squad are so strong at the moment. Look, you know, you're as pleased as you can be with finishing second, but they've got a great line. They're all obviously well forward, and real good performance from gold medalist, but not good enough. Good run from Number as well. That's an interesting runner for the Johnny Butler team.
That was the first of our 3 races coming away from Goodwood. The favourite went in. That was Brose, well done for Sylvester de Souza and trainer Diego Diaz. Gold medalist in the second at 9-2, and Number at 14-1 was third. Now up next, we'll take a trip to see the fastest ever winner of the 2,000 Guineas, Kamiko, to find out how he's getting on in his second career at stud. Ooh, that's magnificent.
Hold your horses! Isn't that your man? Yeah, you know, in from the telly. Excusez-moi, Monsieur Chapman. A selfie? Paddy Power, proud sponsors of racing on ITV.
My husband works away quite a bit. So we decided to sell one of our cars.
Sell your car the motorway way, where you could get more money for your car.
Selling it with motorway was so easy, and I got more than I expected. So we put the money towards my daughter's dream bedroom. She was over the moon.
Motorway, the way to sell your car. Anyway, cutbacks, initial thoughts, downsizing. I could make do with this office here, I suppose, but that big space downstairs is a bit overindulgent nowadays, isn't it?
By downstairs, do you mean closing the actual branch?
Mm-hmm.
But nationwide, aren't we?
We're not nationwide, are we? We're nothing like that. Is that my ex-wife?
We promise to keep every branch open until at least the start of 2028. Nationwide, a good way to bank.
You really think you can get me to like dark chocolate?
Without a doubt.
Won't it taste bitter?
Not this dark chocolate.
It's delicious. I told you it wasn't bitter.
For the Lent Master Chocolatier, discover excellence. Expect delicious.
Aspetto sempre la domenica, perché so che ti vedrò. Tu vieni a...
The taste that takes you there. Peroni nastro azzurro, stile Capri.
Find a great deal for your ideal hotel. Open Trivago, type in where you want to go, select your check-in and check-out dates, and search. Compare prices for the same hotel and land a great deal. Hotel Trivago.
We're into the final bend of the Coral Fan Derby, where racing lovers of the UK are in a spectacular contest. And watch this, he's shaking his phone like it's a pocket-sized baranga. They're all getting rewards now. He's shaking it, she's shaking it, they're all shaking it. Play the free Coral Rewards Shaker to win guaranteed daily rewards and offers. Coral, we're here for it.
Why stumble? Anything where you can soar. Get super fast, reliable Wi-Fi gliding through every room or £100 back. Virgin Media. See what you can do.
Doing it
Sure.
The new Tiguan for all life's adventures. Volkswagen.
Look, it was neck and neck at one point.
Sure, on the start line.
Oof, Le Berne. Paddy Power, proud sponsors of racing on ITV.
Now, as well as an in-depth Guineas preview for you tomorrow, we've got a real treat on the opening show because Adele is going to be at Dallen Hall Stud, Godolphin's UK breeding operation, meeting some of the stallions there and also members of Club 26, which is a great thing to get involved in if you're 26 or younger, or if you know someone who is. All the details on tomorrow morning's programme at 9:30 on ITV4 and ITVX. It's an exciting time of year for the breeding industry as we find out which of the newer sires are having success on the track with their first crop of 2-year-olds, and one such sire is former 2000 Guineas winner Kamiko, who currently stands at Tweedhill Stud.
Kamiko came to us, was a little bit of a slow burner through the spring as a 2-year-old himself. He didn't really start fast to work until we got into June, and then it became very obvious that he had more ability.
It was an exceptional racehorse because he won the races that you need to win to be a stallion. To win the Kipco 2000 Guineas in the fastest ever time is the perfect badge to take off the stud.
And Kamiko will just fly over the Guineas.
Kamiko was truly special. He had an incredible action and a huge stride with the temperament to match and the turn of foot that most horses just don't possess. He was electric in the Kipco 2000 Guineas. It was a day I'll never forget. It was very strange to win the Kipco 2000 Guineas during the middle of COVID with no crowd there, and it obviously detracted from the atmosphere, but it was fantastic that racing carried on and we were able to win such an important race.
I think Kamiko's got every chance of making a really good career as a stallion because he had such a wonderful attitude to his work and to his racing. He was an elite horse, and hopefully he'll turn out being an elite stallion as well.
The Kamiko's got about 100 2-year-olds in training, which gives him a serious chance of becoming a leading first season sire and then hopefully a leading classic sire. And they are with all the leading trainers in Europe.
All the signs for Kamiko at the moment are very positive. Of the horses I've ridden at this stage, I've ridden plenty of Kamikos with big futures, and I hope they'll continue to go in that direction.
It's a dream come true now to see the full cycle and those first 2-year-olds running this year.
That Guineas of 2020 notable not only for him setting the fastest ever time in a 2000 Guineas, but also because we weren't here. It was run in June, a month later than it should have been. Nobody in attendance, but it still didn't take anything away from Kamiko's brilliant win. Now we've had a look at the list of first season sires provided to us by Weatherby's, because this shows you who we've got with their first runners as 2-year-olds, where they stand, the year they've foaled, their covering fee, and how many foals they've got on the ground. Now, Pinatubo, Sergei Prokofiev and Earthlight are all tipped to be right up there in this first season sire category this year. And then as we go over the page, you can see the rest that have got their first runs on the track. For example, the likes of Sotsas, he was an ARC winner himself, but he'd be less likely to be champion first season sire, given that we think his progeny will take a little bit longer to hit the track. And the number of falls they have on the ground also indicative of how their chances are of being at the top of the listing. Covering fees vary hugely, don't they, between 5,000 all the way up to 25,000 for Sotsas. Right, next we have the handicap coming up at Newmarket, and Richard has the details.
Yeah, you can find full details of all the Weatherby's stuff on the Global Stallions app. A reminder that the first season sire is actually based on a number of individual winners, and Sergei Prokofiev has been fastest out of the blocks with 4 successes. Earthlight had a 1-2 the other day at Wolverhampton. Still early days. We'll keep you posted as to how that develops during the course of the season. And let you know Zuki is out of this race and Indian Run out of a next. They're non-runners we haven't yet brought you. So with 3 absentees here. Number 1 is St. Lawrence for Holly Doyle. 2 Noble Dynasty, now becoming quite an important runner for Charlie Appleby after the first 2 races. And their blowouts, William Buick. 3 is Thunderball, Alec Boyansky claiming 3. 4 is Dark 30, already a winner here this year, Sean Levy. And 5, Lethal Levi, looking for doubles for Clifford Lee and Carl Burke. 6 then absentee, 7 Persuasion for Joe Fanning, and 8 English Oak Tom Marquardt, looking for a double himself. 9 is Love to Vega for Machine Murphy. 10 Obelix is another absentee. 11 Final Watch Marco Chiani. 12 is B Frank Nicola Curry, and 13 is the last of the non-runners. English Oak is just at the head of the market, although dark 30 on the exchanges is quite close now. 130 English Oak, but 4.8 on the exchanges, so you might expect to get some 7 to 2. 5.3 dark 30 is a 4 to 1 chance, and the short and Thunderball at 5.9, and Noble Dynasty 6.8. Has been easy to back all day, having originally been disputing favouritism with English Oak.
Well, Ed Walker's just giving Tom Marquand the leg up on English Oak in this race. Actually just kicked out and hit the plastic railing. Well, it looks absolutely fine. But is he a bit fractious, this horse?
No.
Is that out of character?
No, just character. No, fresh
on me with a microphone.
Probably, yeah. You're quite scary.
How is it?
Really well. Massive horse, as you can see. Wins it really well. Done great from 3 to 4, and didn't run at 2. So last year was kind of finding his feet and a big, raw, babyish horse, and really excited. This year is kind of going to be his year.
Were you finding your feet with him a bit early on? Because you tried him over a mile, kicked off over a mile.
Yeah. He's very much bred to be a sort of mile and a quarter horse, and that's what we always thought he was going to be. He's very relaxed at home. He doesn't show a huge amount of speed in his work. He's very switched off, and then just kind of got faster with racing.
Hey there. Glad you stopped by. I'm your virtual assistant, your cloud-based AI. I can help you with a thing or two. Anytime you're game, get organised or be surprised, just say my name. I've got timers, reminders, alarms, lists, Bluetooth calls and messages, jokes, songs, stories, games, weather skills and Easter eggs. Get the news, pranks and tunes, hear the score. Wait, there's more. Link me to your calendar, I won't lead you astray. I'm here to save the day. I can bust a rhyme. Call me anytime.
So he wasn't, he was kind of off the bridle most of the way. I think this is the perfect starting point over 7, and we'll see after this whether we stay at 7 or come back to 6.
I'm probably going off on a slight tangent. I don't know how long we have, but just broadly, do you enjoy the challenge of that sort of conundrum with an individual racehorse, if you see what I mean?
But yeah, I think that's one of the sort of the joys of training, and that's why we all get sort of addicted to it. Is every horse is his own puzzle, and we've got to work it out. And sometimes we make a hash of it, and sometimes we hit the nail on the head straight away. And sometimes very good trainers don't find the key to a horse, and the horse moves stable, and another trainer, maybe even a less successful trainer, does find the key to that horse. So every horse is its own conundrum.
Ground, all right?
Possibly didn't want quite so much rain for him.
Okay, and very quickly, 10 Bob Tony, you're probably keeping your eyes firmly on our next, the 3:35 race, because a couple of horses that 10 Bob Tony beat are running in it, and a big opportunity for Safi and the Guineas tomorrow.
Yeah, really exciting, and it'd be interesting to see what happens in that race. That was obviously an option for us as well, but we decided to go for the big one. I think it looks a vintage Guineas. I mean, there's never an easy Guineas, but it looks a very strong Guineas. But he's entitled to take his chance. We all thought he'd need the run at Newmarket last time. We're confident he'll be better over a mile. He loves the track, and the more rain, the better. So, I think he deserves 6 chances.
You sure does. Good luck, Ed.
Cool. Thanks.
Thank you.
Here's Noble Dynasty, who actually cost 3.6 million as a yearling. He's got course and distance winning form, got a great attitude, and a half-brother to Barney Roy. He could well be up on the front end, or close to it.
Here we have Thunderball, who will have appreciated the rain we've had today. He's 2 good runs so far this season. He stays well, so the more pace the better. He's crept up the weight, so we'll need to bring his A game today.
Dark 30 is pretty flexible as regards trip. He also likes to jump out and get on with it. He managed to win here at the Craven meeting, and has only been nudged up £3 for that return to action.
Here we have my fancy English Oak. He ended last year with a really good run at Ascot. He hasn't had a busy career, so I imagine that he's rather immature, and the winter will have done him good. So yeah, he's grown a lot as well.
And we've got the Henry Candy Nicola Curry combination down the bottom. B Frank, who managed to win a maiden at Salisbury, wins a handicap of 79. And then and he bumped into the mighty Quinault when we last saw him. I think he's overpriced at an each way sort of 11 to 1.
So let's look at them in the paddock a little earlier. They have made their way down to the start. English Oak, gosh, he looked a really lovely individual, didn't he? He's having his first run for the year, and they wanted him to settle, so they dropped him back down to 6, which proved a good move last year, finishing second to Rohan Alaska, but he makes his seasonal reappearance here. In Vision, this is his final watch, with the red hood on. He was a joint favourite for this race last year, and finished last. Anyone know what happened?
Well, I think on the whole, if you were to go through all of his form, he was a model of consistency, bar one sort of below par effort. You mentioned, Hayley, you saw him going out, and he'd just been a bit mulish.
He was being a bit mulish. They've just taken the red hood off, so he's obviously, you know, on edge slightly. What I don't like about this horse is he's quite a keen horse, but he's drawn 1 today, and it's going to be difficult for Marco to, you know, get cover to settle in. So, you know, he's the sort of horse you prefer him smack bang in the middle and, you know, hunt him in behind the leaders, but that's going to be difficult for him to do.
And in that scenario, you want to drop in, but you can't give away over, you know, 7 furlongs. You can't say, oh, I'm definitely going to miss the kick and drop in. You give too much of an advantage away.
Yeah, it is a bit of a risk, especially, you know, maybe somewhere like Ascot, you know, in the straight 7, you could just drop them out.